Alright guys, and welcome to the resce-ace guide. You may have waited for it. This time around we will do it a bit differently. Normally I talk about every single card in the deck and explain to you what they are doing. I will also do this video, I will call this the in-depth guide, the in-depth look, where we go over every card in the deck. This video will probably come tomorrow or the day after. I will in this video show you all the basic combos with all the basic combo starters, so you can just go and learn these combos, take the deck and bring it to the ladder. And if you want to understand it on a deeper level, then the next video is also for you. So keep an eye out for that one. We have the resce-ace airlifter as the most normal summon that you can get here. You go airlifter, and then there are a few different routes. In this case, we are grabbing the emergency. Note that in some cases you can also grab the alert. Basically is the same. You keep another body on the field, but more to that in the depth guide. We are activating the emergency. So now we can special summon one from the deck, one resce-ace monster. We are going for the hydrant and we have to send something away. Could send this from the hand now, but let's just imagine we only had the airlifter, so airlifter goes. Then obviously we need to go into our core play, which is the turbulence. We are grabbing the turbulence. This is like the most easiest line that you can have here, turbulence. And now it's obviously nice that we have two in the grave already, two resce-ace cards that we need to banish in order to summon our turbulence, which we are going to do next here. So turbulence goes, and then you can activate Turbulence's effect. Keep in mind though that I have talked about this in a few other videos. You can also try to establish a sprite elf first if you have more material, so you can protect your Turbulence from imperm or effect failure. But more to that in the in-depth guide. Then we are going to activate Turbulence's effect, and you want to set at least the two traps here. This one, yeah. I wish they would have done it a bit differently with the setting here. It's quite complicated if you ask me. We will set another emergency also, and then we will also set another rescue, and obviously we have the alert in hand, so we can't set the alert, but you would obviously also set the alert here. So let's just imagine we also would have set the alert. And because we control the hydrant now, we are now able to activate one of these cards. We cannot activate rescue because there's nothing in the grave, but we can activate alert, which we are going to do. Obviously, if this would have been set, we would then be able to activate it because of the hydrant. Now we have it in hand. And now we want to grab the other new card that we have here, the resce-ace preventer, which is quite nice. This is the Book of Moon if you control another resce-ace monster on the field as a quick effect. We activate Preventer's effect to banish this one from the grave and special summon it in defense position. And the cool thing is, if you get this off the field, then this also allows you to summon back from the banished pile a resce-ace monster, but not the turbulence. So you can now decide whether you want to end up here, which you have your turbulence. If something gets destroyed, he can destroy something. Your hydrant, which give the trap the bonus effects, and then you have the Book of Moon preventer. You also have the rescue, which in this particular combo line you can use as a somewhat called by the grave, removing something from your opponent's graveyard, which is very strong. Think Promethean Princess or any level 1 monster, so your opponent can, for example, not use Snake Ice Flame Birch Dragon. And then you have your Extinguish, the Destruction, and your Contain, the Negate, which also have a bonus effects that we will talk about in the in-depth guide. But what you can also do here is, so this is one option, what you can also do is go for a different line. You can also go for making this Linkuriboh here. And then you can link the Linkuriboh and the preventer away into, for example, in this case, the Heater, the Fire Charmer. But you can also go and put this one and this one away into Sunlight Wolf. And then, because this went to the grave, the preventer, you can activate this right now and resummon the airlifter from the banished pile. Putting it here. So you want to get the Linkuriboh into the graveyard, because then you have a dodge that you can use if you summon another level 1 monster. So quick effect, you contribute one level 1 monster, special summon this from the graveyard. Then you can decide whether to go into a Promethean Princess and climb up into an Amlo Whale, but you could also just go into an Appaloosa. Could have also skipped the part with the Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, and now you have the Appaloosa, which now you need to activate your rescue to re-rescue. We can quickly show this to re-rescue your hydrant. This is one thing that's a bit dangerous, if you want to call it that, because if for some reason your opponent can interrupt you here and you don't get your hydrant back, then your traps are not live. You still have your emergency to get a hydrant from the deck, but you would need to send away another resce-ace monster. So if you don't have one, we have one, then that's obviously a problem. So this is your 1-card combo starter, resce-ace airlifter. Alright, the next starting line that you could end up with is Wanted or Diabellstar, both of which basically the same, so we are going Wanted here, adding the Diabellstar. Let's just imagine, I could also imagine the Diabellstar was already in hand, then we go to special summon the Diabellstar. Obviously she is going to grab us the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eyes here to the field, and then you know the drill. We activating the Snake Eyes, sending away the Dia Star or anything else if you have something else to summon, and then we are going into our Hydrant here. Hydrant because we have our normal summon left. This is always something to check. We will talk about this in the in-depth video, but we have the normal summon left, which means we can grab the airlifter. And here at this point it's same as these, because you're grabbing the emergency here. This time around it's the other way around, but it works the same. Emergency specials the not the preventer but the turbulence here, and we are sending away once again the airlifter here. So last time around we were setting or using the alert afterwards with our turbulence. This time around, oh no, we were actually, I forget what I'm saying. We were using the alert, and we are going to use the alert as well, which normally you would also set alert and the extinguish here. We have the alert already, so just imagine you have set the alert here, then we are going to use the alert like last time, like in the last combo. It's basically the same to grab ourselves the preventer here. Now you know it already, we are going to activate preventer's effect to special summon itself, removing the airlifter from the graveyard, and then we are going to summon the guy. So once again, as I've talked about in the last thing, we could now go ahead and go into this Promethean Princess line. We could go into a Palooza line that you have seen in the one card combo for the airlifter. Let's just do this for now so you understand what this line could look like. So we are getting Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, and then the Preventer will grab back the airlifter from the banished. Now we have the Promethean Princess re-summon thing left, so we are going Revive to grab back the Hydrant here, and then we can do an Amblowave, for example, because we still need to grab to get the Promethean Princess in the grave. So she can activate and pop the Amblowave to resummon herself and pop something on our opponent's field. Now all of our traps are live here, and we don't need to use the rescue to get back our Hydrant because we have reborn it to the field. The disadvantage here is that we don't have another rescue-ace monster, which means our opponent in theory could go battle phase attack over the Hydrant, but then we would still have a rescue. You could also, if your opponent summons something, go and contain the monster because you control the Hydrant, then it cannot attack, so it cannot attack over the Hydrant. And then, for example, if your opponent special summons the next monster, because this was a normal summon, then you can go Promethean Princess, destroy that monster. This is the wanted Diabellstar line, with us going into the Amblowave instead of the Appaloosa. Okay, let's look at the next card that we could start with, the Bonfire, which we are going to add the Snake Eyes Poplar, which now the Poplar can go summon itself, because it was added to the hand, and then search our original Sinful Spoils. At this point, you want to go ahead and do the classic Poplar play, as you could call it already, making the Linkuriboh so Poplar can go to the spell trap, and we have a free body, you could say. It's not really a body because it's a spell trap, but it's a free body to be sent away via the original Sinful Spoils for cost, so that's nice. And then we are obviously grabbing the Hydrant. Hydrant comes to the field. And once again, check this, we have the normal summon left, so it's nice. We can just grab the airlifter, this is cool. Otherwise, it's a bit different. We will talk about this in a moment. We go airlifter, and this time around, once again, grabbing the emergency. So now we can go emergency. You know the drill, we are summoning not the preventer. I'm always clicking the preventer, the turbulence, of course. Getting rid of our rescue-ace airlifter, and then we are going to activate the turp, setting ourselves the trap, another trap, come on, and then the emergency, of course, but we need the alert here, then the emergency, and we still have the rescue in the hand. So what you would normally do if you wouldn't have the rescue in the hand, I would suggest you go set the rescue instead of the emergency, because the alert, we need to still be able to grab ourselves the preventer. And obviously the emergency we already have activated and can't use this turn, so just set the rescue here if we would not have it in the hand already. Then once again you go preventer here, banish this one from the graveyard to summon itself. And then you could once again pass here, which would have the advantage of having the Linkuriboh here to be tributed. By the way, I misclicked here, don't put it here, put it here. But you could go Linkuriboh and tribute it to make something 0 attack to even more protect your stuff here, though the Hydrant is already quite protected. But once again, we could also opt for sending these away. We're getting these to the graveyard to resummon. This time around, we can use this, and then we would, in comparison, let's go for the Appaloosa line here in comparison to the first route with the Airlifter, which this is the better route. We now also have a rescue-ace monster back on the field. Which means the rescue that we, in theory, have set here, not the emergency, we would now not need to revive the Hydrant if we don't want to, but we can now just also use it to revive something from our own graveyard. So the traps are alive now. We have like the minus effect because we don't have the Hydrant, and you can decide on your opponent's turn whether you need the Hydrant for the bonus effects or you are fine with the Airlifter to just have the basic trap effect. So we have this bonus body on the field, which allows us to conserve our rescue. Keep in mind though that the rescue, because the Hydrant is not on the field, will not be able to grab something from your opponent's graveyard, so it's more like a follow-up play, or maybe if your opponent opts to destroy something, you can also resummon the Turbulence, because if you don't know, are not aware, if another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. So for example, your opponent, I don't know, makes a mystical space typhoon on your emergency, and then you can, for example, chain the rescue to grab the Turbulence back and then destroy something on your opponent's field. Otherwise, you have a formidable Appaloosa, which obviously is super weak against the triple tactics talents steal, but that's just how it is with the Appaloosa. You can't really do anything about this. This getting stolen is basically game over for you, because then you can negate everything that you have here. But yeah, you can do this if you have the Bonfire as a starter. So let's talk about the situation if you only have a Snake-Eyes Poplar normal summon in the hand. So let's just imagine there wasn't a Bonfire, which is definitely the better starter here, but we have to normal summon the Poplar, which now means we would normally be able to search the original Symbol Spoils. It's in hand already, so this is what would happen next. But the problem now is, and I've talked about this, now we have no normal summon left, right? So we can't go a Hydrant into Airlifter normal summon because we can't normal summon the Airlifter. In this specific case, we could, because we have the HQ, which allows us an additional rescue-ace normal summon. But let's just imagine it was not there. What you would do then is, and this depends on your hand, this working, what I show you now, depends on your hand. There are hands that this would not work with. It works here because we have the HQ in hand. You need any rescue-ace card in hand for this to work. Then obviously we do the classic Poplar thingy here, send this away to grab the Hydrant. And as I already said, this depends on your hand, because unfortunately the Poplar can't work on itself. So once again, and this time we are grabbing the Turbulence, and now you see what our current problem is. We have one rescue-ace card on the field. The Hydrant, we can get it to the grave, that's not the problem, but we are missing one in the grave to special summon our Turbulence. So what we are doing here is we have the Barricade blocker in the extra deck, and this is where you need the extra rescue-ace card in your hand. Because now the Barricade blocker can activate. If this card is linked summoned, you can discard one card during the end phase of this turn, add one continuous or field spell from your grave to your hand. We activate this, we don't care about the adding of the continuous or field spell. In this case though, it's nice, or it's actually not nice because we will banish it in a moment. It would be nice if this could stay in the grave, because then we could re-add it. But what we have just done here, and what the idea of the Barricade blocker is, to just be able to discard a card from your hand. Because that means that you are able to discard a rescue-ace card that you have in your hand. So now that you have two rescue-ace cards in the grave, obviously you can now go ahead, banish them, and you have your Turbulence play. The disadvantage of this play, which is a little bit unfortunate, if you can do it otherwise you should. Now we don't have a Hydrant, we have banished the Hydrant, and we also don't have access to our Preventer, which in theory could grab back the Hydrant from the banished pile. We don't have that, unfortunately, so we are kind of locked using these interruptions with the Turbulence, and we can't activate anything on our turn. In this specific case, for example, I would go ahead and probably honestly, nah, the rescue is still better. The alert is definitely the worst card. So grabbing the rescue here, and this is the board that we end up on at this current point. So we can't access the hydrant, which is a bit unfortunate. You could also, for example, if you have a Diabellstar in the hand, use the Diabellstar to discard one of your cards to the graveyard, one of your rescue-ace cards. You don't need to make the barricade blocker if you have a Diabellstar in the hand. And what you can then obviously do is do the Promethean Princess play here. The disadvantage is that without having any other bodies, you are now basically stuck with the princess on the board, because obviously you need your turbulence in order to activate your traps, right? But I think it's quite okay getting the princess on the field, because that means if she if she keeps on the field, then she can go ahead next turn and revive a fire monster from your graveyard, which obviously is quite nice, is quite strong. And then if your opponent somehow removes her, that's also not bad, because then she's in the graveyard and can be resummoned via her own effect. If you have any other additional bonus body, if that should be the case, then obviously you can go into an Ambler Whale. As I already said, this only applies if we have a bonus body, because now our traps aren't live because we don't have a rescue-ace monster on the field. So for example, this Bonfire could have gotten us a bonus body Poplar to use for that, and then keep the turbulence on the field. Obviously this would have made a better line with just activating this, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, this is what you can do with the Poplar normal summon starter if you have another rescue-ace card in the hand to discard. And these are all the combos that I can show you. These are all the starter combos here that you need to know, which will help you to understand how this deck works, how this deck operates. As I already said, if you want to dive way deeper into the deck and what the specific task of all the cards are, and what are important interactions, and what the basic idea of this deck is to win the game, then go ahead and check out the video that is either coming up tomorrow or on Tuesday, where I will go and make a deeper dive into the deck list of rescue-ace. But for now, all the combos you need to know to grab the deck and take it to the ladder. I hope you like this. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.